Today, the theme is yoga for every body. And last class, we were really talking about alignment, um, but while and contrasting that with sort of the sense of the pose or the sense of the stack and how it feels in your body. So today we're focusing on sun salutations for everybody. What does that mean? What does that look like? And let me let somebody in. Okay. So let's start in mountain. So stacking, the stack thing is really how you can maintain a sense of the pose. And trying to like notice your connection with the ground, notice where your body is in space, and the stack of your, excuse me, a couple people, uh, the stack of your rib cage, so over your pelvis. So if I'm told to stand up straight, sometimes I get this sort of militaristic pose, and that straightens my lumbar spine out, and I've got my chest sticking out, my shoulders back, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm straight. This feels straight to me." But really it's my ribs are flared. And if I just tuck that back in a little bit and shorten the distance between my rib cage and my hip points, it actually this is looks way more straight, even though this kind of feels straight to me. This is that, but if I tuck that in, it looks better and it actually has that stack. So you might actually, at some point, look in a mirror and see what it looks like in your body. Couple more people coming in. So thinking about, and when you do that, you have to engage your core. And I think we found out last time that you might have a surprising amount of core engagement just to hold your body up straight in this stack. Um, so it's, having your shoulders externally rotated, and that idea that that protects your shoulder joint, having that external rotation and engaging some of the surrounding shoulder muscles and pulling your shoulder blades either this way and down away from your ears so you're not hunched up. That protects your shoulders. And then as you bring your arms overhead, also not scrunching your shoulders up at your ears, pulling them down your back, um, it's to make it a little bit more healthy. So again, that sense idea, look down. Are your feet pointed forward or are they not? And maybe adjust yourself to have that feeling of pointed forward. Maybe even lift your toes and set them down again. And maybe even engage in a little bit of a sway to pull that connection to the ground. So we're going to add movement to our mountain. So externally rotating my arms, inhale, bringing them up, and exhale down at your sides. Let me just shoot over a little bit. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale, arms down. We're going to add on and do a couple of half sun salutations. So I'm going to push myself sideways to see a little bit better what's happening. So inhale, arms up. And this time, hinging at your hips so you can keep that spinal stack. Lean forward, almost like a swan dive forward. And as you get to about here, you might need to bend your knees to be able to keep your stack. And then think about internally rotating your thigh bones to help your booty pop a little bit. And then keep on going as far as you can. Maybe have some of you are going to have a bend in your knees while you before you release your head towards the ground. And keep breathing and try to have a popped booty, that smile of your internally rotating both of your thighs to create more space in your back. You might grab your elbows, that might feel good. You might shake your head out, that might feel good. And then bring your torso into half forward fold or whatever position is right for you in terms of keeping that sort of sense of stack with your head in line with the rest of your spine. And then what are your shoulders doing? Are your shoulders next to your ears? Push out of your shoulders. You can use your legs as traction and keep breathing. And then we'll go forward fold again. Internally rotate both of your thighs. Let your head dangle. And then using your core, pressing into the ground, reverse that swan dive, come up to standing, arms overhead, and then back to mountain. We'll try that a couple times. One breath, one movement, and think about those alignment cues. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at your hips. Let your head dangle. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, strong, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. Let's do it again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, internally rotating both of your thighs. Let your head dangle. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. Excellent. So the last class we were talking about yoga push-ups, right? And one of the contradictions is this idea of, or these, union of opposites is externally rotating your upper arm and internally rotating your lower arm because you really want to distribute the weight, protecting your shoulders with the external rotation, protecting your wrists with the internal rotation of your lower arm, and somehow you know put going into a push-up. So if you think about this position, just bringing your arms next to your torso is the yoga push-up position. You're basically in mountain, but on, with a different relationship to the ground, and pushing back out again and coming into yoga push-up. Let's try that a little bit against a wall. I don't have a wall that's clear. If you don't have a wall, doors often it might be the only clear place in your space that you can put your hands up against. And depending on either, be next to your wall so that your arms are, like in a yoga push-up position. And if you step back a little bit, it'll create a little bit more um, tension. Um, So if you just lower yourself, oh, I'm gonna do that. Lower yourself down into a push-up and push yourself back up. Just do a couple push-ups using the wall as your ground, so you can really focus on keeping your torso stacked, your shoulders back and down, their arms externally rotated, your spine and your neck spine in line with the rest of your spine. And then on your next push down, maybe put a little arch in your back and look up a little bit. And this is a sense of cobra, a gentle back bend, um, where your floor is actually a wall. And then Step back a little bit and bring your uh, torso kind of parallel to the ground, but with your arms overhead. And this is a sense of down dog against the wall. So down dog is that upside down V. And let's check in. See if you can pop your booties, push that smile, internally rotate your thighs to create that lumbar curve in your lower back. And notice that your arms are you can't see your elbows if your arms are overhead. And think about that external rotation. Think about not having your shoulders up scrunched up next to your ears and maybe even push into the wall a little bit. And this is a sense of down dog. And then come on back up to standing. So you can do a downward or a whole sun salutation where the wall is your floor as opposed to um, the ground being, the floor being your floor. Sometimes if you have a wrist injury or some other thing like that, that might be the best option for you. I've also recommended chairs as um, a support for a sun salutation where you actually don't go on to the ground and you just have the sense of these poses using an, an other object as your relationship point. So, for example, um, let's try a standing sun salutation using a chair, or I'm going to use the back of my chair. Inhale your arms up, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, and shift down to the ground like in a push-up ish. And then inhale, back bend into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up if you want. Exhale, mountain. You can also use the other side of your chair if you want the ground to be a little bit higher up. If you have a different sun salutation that you want to do, you're welcome to do it. But let's try maybe some of these variations and see what they feel like in your body. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Internally rotate your legs. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, push up. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. So the sense of the down dog is this internal rotation of your thighs, your arms overhead, really, but a little bit of weight bearing. Trying to keep your spine long and perhaps even creating a lumbar uh, curve. On your next inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. Let's go down to the ground and do some variations from there. I'm going to step to the back of my mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, internally rotating your thighs. Let your head dangle. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, come onto your hands and knees for tabletop. Let's do a couple activities in tabletop to help us prep for downward dog and a different relationship to the ground, using the ground as the ground. So stack everything, knee, wrist, elbows, shoulders, knees, hips, and feet parallel to each other behind you. And think about that scapular push up, pushing out of your shoulders, um, drawing your shoulder blades wide to create strength and stability in your shoulder areas. And then think about that external rotation of your upper arm, internal rotation of your lower arm, and see if you can try to evenly distribute the weight on your throughout your hands. Fingers underneath your index finger, particularly because we have a tendency to load the outside edge of our hand and load particularly underneath your wrist. Crunch your fingers almost like you're gripping the floor, clawing the floor to try to create a little bit of um, release into the that carpal tunnel area, and keep breathing. And then let's add a little bit of core challenge by lifting your right arm like you're about to shake the hand of the person of somebody across the way. Keep your head looking down so that you're uh, engaged. Your spine is still in line. And when you have your hand in the handshake position, that is that external rotation that we're looking for in your shoulder area. And keep breathing and try to have that stable super strong table using your core, even though you're in a three-legged position. One more inhale here, and then go ahead and release back to all fours. And let's try with our left hand, externally rotating that upper arm. So your palm is facing towards the right. Keep breathing. Look at your alignment. Notice what's happening with your ears and your shoulders in terms of like, are your shoulders next to your ears? Can you push out into the ground with your right hand a little bit more? And go ahead and release back to all fours. Let's add to the challenge by lifting up your right foot, right leg. Try to get that parallel to the ground. And watch what happens with your knee. Your knee should still be pointing down and not rotated out to the side. Because if your knee's pointed down, that probably means that your hips are still parallel to the ground as opposed to pointed one way or the other. Now, have you created a sway in your back, or could you still have a strong core? Do you need to push into your hands, into your scapular push up a teeny bit more? And are you breathing? Reach out through your foot and go ahead and let that leg down. And again, let's switch sides. So left leg parallel to the ground, knee pointed down, hips parallel to the ground. Push into your hands. Keep breathing. Go ahead and release. And repeat one of those, or if you're interested in an additional challenge, try a two-legged table, meaning right hand, left leg, strong core, push into your left hand, create a bunch of stability, externally rotating, reaching through your foot, reaching through your fingertips. Go ahead and come down and switch sides. Left hand, right leg, left arm, right leg, externally rotating, strong core. Keep maintaining the stack of your ribs with your hips parallel to the ground, knee pointed down. Reach through your fingers, press into your right hand, Reach through your heel and come on down to all fours. And then go ahead and take a rest for a couple breaths in your favorite child's pose position. So for me, I like knees wide, toes together, creating a little space for my belly and flopping into that space, not being concerned with being okay with a C curve in my back, finding some place to relax my head. If you want to look out, you can stack your fists or use a block or head down. See if you can still breathe into your belly. And then go ahead and come back into tabletop. Let's notice a couple of things. So restack everything and drop your belly, look up or look out as opposed to up. Um, and if you want to, you can slouch out of the scapular push-up. And this position is known as cow, and you're like a lumbering cow walking down with a big belly that's swaying back and forth. And if you arch the other way, making a C curve out of your spine, letting your head dangle, this is a cat position. It's like you're a Halloween cat. And the other alternative, if you don't like that going from cow to cat, is to go from cow to puppy, which might include stepping your hands a little bit forward and uh, rocking back onto your heels a little bit. This is it's almost like a downward dog from your knees. Actually, it is a downward dog from your knees. Try that again, which would be d- uh, the cow, dropping your belly, looking forward, and then pressing into your shoulders, arching your back the other way, rocking back a little bit if that feels good to you. Inhale, drop your belly, look forward. Exhale, push in out of your shoulders, arch your back into a C curve, maybe rock back. Couple more. Allow your breath to guide your movement. And then let's all try puppy. Reach pretty far forward um, with your hands and rock back uh, a little bit. And then internally rotating both of your thighs to pop your booty a little bit and press into your hands. Externally rotate your upper arm, internally rotate your lower arm. Strong. Let your head dangle and keep breathing. Some of you might even have your head on the ground, but be careful not to keep your shoulder in a protected position. And then come back up. That was a down dog um, on your mat. And let's try plank. So stacking your shoulders, wrists, and elbows. Step back into plank. Have your scapular push up. Strong core, keeping that alignment between your hips and your rib cage. Keep breathing, looking back, your head and or looking down your head in line with everything else. And then for the yoga push up, shift forward and lower down and then see if you can push yourself back up. So, like we were doing against the wall, your elbows only go in this is the only way they go. And if you're trying to keep your elbows in, this has to be the motion for a yoga push up. So, it's not arms out like a regular push up, it's elbows in. And the only way to do this um, and keep your shoulders where they need to be is to shift forward so that you can lower down. So I'm going to do that from my knees a couple times. So from plank, shift forward, lower down, and see if you can come back up. Wah! Keeping your spine stacked, trying to keep your upper shoulders externally rotated. Let's try that again. Shift forward, lower down, and see if you can press back up. Ah! Notice where it went awry, and where maybe your hand stopped gripping, maybe your shoulders slouched, maybe you're doing this amazingly. And then the third one, well, let's just go ahead and come on down to the ground. So shift forward, lower down, belly onto the ground. And notice my hands are either under my shoulders or back, and actually probably more in a right angle position would be a good alignment for this. So while my hands are here, I'm gonna shoulders back, chin up, peel my chin and chest off the ground for cobra, which is like you're a snake. Go ahead and lower. Press your feet, your thighs, your pubic bone into the ground and lift your uh, chest and head off the ground, strengthening your back and down again. And this time, on your inhale, raise up and then see if you can do hands free and hold your body in this, like lift your hands off the ground and hold your torso, your chest, and your head off the ground. So, back strengthener and also counteracting some of these forward folds and crunch positions that we've been in. Excellent. Go ahead and lower. And then see if you can push into puppy or down dog from your knees. So puppy is staying on your knees, maybe reaching forward, shifting back. Down dog is hands on the ground and then shooting your torso into an upside down V. So you might choose to use blocks. Come on down out of your down dog. Blocks for a down dog. You also might try widening your V. If you're just doing it from tabletops, um, sometimes your V can be too scrunchy and you end up like being, if you can still see your hands and your elbows, something is not right about your down dog. Try lengthening your down dog. Sometimes from plank is a good measuring tool, or even wider than that for your V. And again, then internally rotate your thighs, and you should not be able to see your elbows or your hands. Let your head dangle. Long spine, trying to stack everything, externally rotating your upper arms, internally rotating your lower arm.
Your camera turned off.
Uh-oh. Thank you. Oh, apparently my battery is going low. Derp, derp, derp. Thank you. Is it back yet? There we go. Okay. And then go ahead and come on down into child's pose if you're not already there. Okay. Let's try a sun salutation just from your knees. See what that feels like. And then we'll do one with our blocks. So stand in mountain on your knees. Everything is the same except you're folded at the very bottom of your body. If you need to, you can accordion your mat to create a little bit of cushion underneath your knees. That's a little trick that sometimes work. Or you can use a towel or a t-shirt under your knees if it gets to be a little bit too intense. If your floor is a little too hard. And then on your next inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, which basically means bring your head towards the ground. Inhale, flat back, which basically is tabletop. And then exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. So I'm on my belly. Inhale, cobra, peel your chin and your chest off the ground. Exhale, puppy. So pushed through tabletop into shift back and arms overhead. Let your head dangle. Try to have a little bit of a lumbar curve, or at least straight. Couple more breaths. And then come into tabletop, which is our equivalent of flat back. Exhale, forward fold, bring your forehead towards the ground. Inhale, stand up on your knees, arms up. Exhale, mountain. So a sun salutation from your knees. I'm going to try one using my blocks to bring the ground a little bit closer. Um, you might try even a wider downward dog stance, meaning like instead of having, if you're wider, meaning towards the outside edge of your mat or wider this way, your joints are still protected. It's when you get into sort of more these some of these other positions that can be making your joints a little bit more vulnerable. Okay, so I'm going to stand in mountain. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, internally rotating my thighs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Some people really like down dog from blocks. Sometimes it can help give you some relief on your wrists, a little bit more length in your arms. On your next inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. I'm going to do another one without props, but maybe from my knees pretty gently. And for that, you start at the back of your mat. If you could welcome to repeat one of these other variations that we've already tried, or do the sun salutation that makes the most sense for you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down, belly to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths. Think about internally rotating your thighs, popping your booty, not being able to see your elbows or your hands. Long spine, head dangling. I'm going to walk my hands to my feet for half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. Now, we're going to do a couple more, a little bit more vigorously for a couple of them. More vigorous usually means starting at the top of your mat. Hold on, I don't hit the podium. Checking in with my mountain. On my next inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, step back for plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. On your next inhale, come to the top of your mat for forward, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. To do it a little bit more vigorously, instead of stepping forward and back, it would be a jump forward and back. You might try it or repeat one of the other variations that feels good for you in your body. On your next inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, jump your feet back for plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog if that's in your practice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths. On your next inhale, we're going to jump forward if you feel like it. Flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. So we're going to start to slow down a little bit. So let's do another sun salutation of your own choice, whatever variation seems to feel good in your body right now for today. I think I like use a chair. If you know the pattern, see if you can do it without following my cues. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. I forgot to show you the sun salutation while sitting down in a chair. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. Sometimes that works out a little bit better if you have something to use as a floor. Let's do another one. Your variation that's right for you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. On your next inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. Now, I'd actually like everybody to come down to the floor on your backs. Arms externally rotated, which means palms up. You're welcome to have your feet, legs bent or straight out, whichever feels more comfortable for you, either one. And what we're going to try is sun salutations, where in your head, so a visualization of your sun salutation, where the movement is your breath. So in your mind's eye, picture yourself inhaling with your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. You're still doing a sun salutation. You're still having breath meet movement. You're still having the sense of the pose. Let's do one more visualization salutation. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms up. Exhale, mountain. See if you can do another one in your head. Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and find your favorite Shavasana position. I'm going to sit up for the last little bit. And if you're having trouble sleeping, sometimes doing sun salutations in your head, where you're breathing with the visualization, can actually give you the focus and distraction that your mind needs to be able to pull you out of the past or future where your head might be spinning and into the present and allow your body to relax enough that you can fall asleep. So that can be a strategy if you're having symptoms of insomnia or stress or worry as you're trying to sleep. A moving meditation and thinking about all of these union of opposites, internal, external, stack, inhale, exhale, allows you to be present and mindful of your body and what's happening now. And the union of opposites in Buddhism is known as the middle way, the balance between comfort and overwhelm, strength and flexibility. Growth happens when you have that perfect balance of challenge. And no matter what your practice looks like, you are a yogi. Yoga is for every body, and only you know what it looks like and what it feels like in your body. See if you can sink into the ground or whatever you're lying on a little bit more, particularly on your exhales. Go ahead and start to lengthen your breathing again. Maybe start to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe do wrist circles or ankle circles. You might try a full body stretch. If you're on your back, I recommend rolling onto one side, knees bent, breath or two here. And then gently and kindly pushing yourself up to sitting or coming somehow up to vertical with kindness. Hopefully, everybody's back up to vertical at this point. And remember, you are a yogi. Yoga is for every body. And may the inner light in you reflect the inner light in me. Namaste.